Hey guys, join us as we transform this Honda Euro R Accord to something a bit more unique and, in my opinion, cool look. I picked this car up nice and cheap off a friend who was kind of over it and they wanted it gone off their lawn. It's been sitting for quite some time, as you can see all the cobwebs and stuff happening with it. It does have a couple of things wrong with it. It had some starting issues and also it's been hitting the rear wheel and it's twisted the rear hub around a little bit. I'm not sure whether it's arms or hub, or we're about to pull that wheel off and have a look. We're going to get this car warranted, legal, get it lowered, some new wheels on it, and eventually we will look at certifying it and getting it all legal as well. Okay, so we got the factory high stop here in the window. Because we're going to take the boot spoiler off, there's a factory light here, but it's got this black strip on it. And voila, put a bulb in there and we're ready to go for a high stop without the boot spoiler. Sweet, thanks Honda.
It's around. Yeah, I think so. It's even got the Owasho's Japanese sized one underneath it.
Go, rip it off.
Yeah. Oh, the number plate's going to come with it.
Clean sheet warrant, warning on rims and tyres, because they are marginal. We have our warrant and we are fit to go. Now that the car is all legal, we can set to looking to modify it, and what that does then, with the 1 year warrant, it gives us 12 months to get the car all organised and sorted how we want it to be modified before we have to look at certifying it for the next warrant. That's kind of why we do it this way. And then we can look at taking it through low volume certification to get it so that it's ticked off and everyone says it's okay at that height and it's sweet for the next warrant, hopefully within 12 months. Okay, a couple of things we got for the Accord. Just tuned up today. Vegan boot spoiler. Second-hand hard race rear camber arms. Virtually brand new, been in the car 2 weeks. Putting those in with the new BC Gold suspension. Adjustable bolts here slide in and out, and that adjusts the top arm for the camber, and that will slide the top of the wheel in or out with the adjustment on the camber. Okay, this is what I mean by the inner guard on the Honda. Forgive the dirt, I haven't cleaned it yet, but essentially there's a plastic inner guard here that has a rebate on it, as you can see. And so I can't lift the guard up because of this return here. What I'm going to do is slice this off with a knife and cut that return out to about down here. And then I'm able to heat the guard with a heat gun. And then I hammer it up gently back and forward to then push this back in more and retain it with the lip. So that's the plan. I've done it on the other side, it looks pretty good. I tend to hammer the guards instead of roll them because I get a better job with it. If you heat it with a heat gun, it warms the paint and makes it more flexible. So you're less likely to get cracks along the edge here, although you will get a bit off the back where you're hitting it. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut that, heat it up, bend it up, and you can observe. Not exactly an easy task. There we go. So yeah, took that bit there off. It went that way, up in the guard. So now we can get it to the lip to fold up nice and tight with the heat gun. You notice I probably use a heat gun quite a bit. It's a very handy tool in the workshop. The trick with the heat gun is keep it moving. If you stay in one spot, you're going to have problems. And it always pays to check the heat without burning yourself. So I want to get this metal nice and warm, like it needs to be like warm to the touch. Too hot and the paint will blister, we don't want that. But it needs to be quite warm to allow the metal to stretch. You can appreciate it's seam welded here, spot welded, 2 layers. When you pull them up, it's going to it has to stretch this quite a substantial amount to fold up nice and neat, and the warmer the metal is, the easier it's going to want to stretch up there. Don't cut slots, for whatever you do, don't cut slots like that. It ends up being making big fold marks in the outside of the guard. If anyone's tried that, you can attest to my understanding of it. I definitely learnt the hard way in my younger years. So now I just keep it simple, I keep the lip all together. Potentially you could trim it back smaller, but I don't seem to bother. It will stretch up nicely. Quite a cold day again here, so I might have to heat this 2 or 3 times as I'm bending it up.
Jeremy broke out his vast and sophisticated toolkit.
Rubber mallet for the outside to hammer against, and just a regular ball peen. You could use like a mallet as well, it'd be quite good because it's going to be tight between the disc and the guard. Should be pretty good. Okay, we are just going to tidy up the hubs and calipers. I'm probably going to paint the calipers. I've got some other wheels, 18-inch wheels to fit up and try. We've fitted the adjustable suspension and arms, but we do need to fine tune the height and the camber. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint these brake rotor. Okay, so now I'm going to unbolt the caliper to be able to paint it blue. I want it a similar blue to the car. It'll stand out, but not too much. Like if I did it red, it would be too much. What I want to do is to do a nice job. I could either mask the pad and mask around. It's quite a bit of mucking around for the time it takes. I could actually just take the caliper off, slip the pads out, give it a quick prep, and it's ready to paint. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Bolts are nice and tidy and loose, so they not loose, but they came off without protest. And something worth mentioning, I'm actually wearing my Team New Zealand hoodie. I found it's very cold tonight, so this is from way back when Gaz and Fanger went to Sydney time attack for the drift challenge, and we were there sort of judging and pit crewing and whatnot, and got some sweet hoodies for the boys. There's quite a big crew of us that went over to support them, and it was quite a good time. I don't know what year that was. It must have been about 3 years ago, 17, 18 maybe. Alright, so that just slips off. I'm just going to let it hang off the brake line, which is not ideal, but we're not going to be doing too much with it here, so it should be safe. I might be able to just leave it there and put a bit of cardboard in there, and it'll sit quite nicely. Okay, I've got some cardboard and some tape here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slip this in. I've already wire brushed these calipers, but now I'm just going to take a bit of brake clean. You could use wax and grease remover or something similar. I've painted all kinds of calipers with all kinds of dust and dirt on them. Yeah, I mean, you can go and prime them up and do it all properly if you want, but realistically, a quick coat and they're going to look a million times better. I've got a couple of blues here. I'm not sure which one's going to look better. Probably that one, I imagine. Closer to the car. Now I'm going to go ahead and warm this up. Good to warm up paint cans before you paint them. Most people get a bucket of hot water, tub of hot water, whatever, pour the jug, pour it in, and then submerge these in the water, and it warms them up nicely for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm pretty lazy, so I get the heat gun. I don't recommend it because it could explode the can if you did it wrong, but I just use a heat gun and I turn the can and do the bottom, do the can, warm it up nicely, give it a shake, cools back down, warm it up again. On a night like this, it's probably only like, I don't know if it's 7, 8 degrees or whatever, so you want to warm them up so they get good coverage. Blue by blue. What I might do, this looks like quite a thin colour, and that's quite dark. This has been quite light. It's going to take a lot of paint to try and bring the blue out in this dark steel colour. So what I might actually do first is hit it with a little bit of etch primer to key to the steel, let the blue have a better chance of sticking, and I think this will enable us to use a lot less colour to get the colour out of the blue that we want. Alright, I've got here a colour pack grey etch primer. It's quite a good product, this one. I get it from Wind Phases here in Wangaroo. Go ahead and just layer a bit of grey etch primer. Let it dry. Good thing about these enamels is they do dry really quick and you can put them on wet on wet. Alright. I don't know how ricey this may be. You might think it's ricey. I don't normally do stuff like this. I've done a few red ones on the Type R and Tigers. I don't know, I just thought I'd try something different. I've got a black wheel to go on this car, which is kind of boring. I thought maybe the blue caliper will just help it pop out a little bit. And you can see I've got a bit of blue on the disc, back plate. It's okay, I'll just turn this around and chuck a little bit more black on it, and she's all good. So there you have it. I'll give that probably half an hour to an hour. Just check it. If it's cold, it'll take a bit longer. So you can see it's subtle, can't really notice it, but when you look, you'll notice it. It just brings up the overall look of the car, really. So yeah. Okay, so I wanted to tidy up the front of the car a little bit. I've gone ahead and taken off the number plate bracket, which was quite big for the Japanese plate. Our plates are obviously a lot smaller here in New Zealand, so that was pretty excessive. Left some pretty big holes. I did originally want to sort of mount the plate off to the side somewhere, but I'm probably going to have to hide these holes again. But I think something like that is just going to be a lot cleaner and tidier. I'm a bit of a fan of mounting it off to the side, but it's just not really quite practical on this car, unfortunately. With the black wheels, the whole look of the car is darkened up quite a lot, so I've actually got some black plastic dip here, and I'm going to go ahead and plastic dip the badge just black that out. If I don't like it, I can just peel it straight back off again, and that'll just, I think, front and back of the car is looking darkish, like the sides with the wheels. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and just give the headlights a quick buff, and buff this mark off the bumper from the plate surround, and we're looking pretty good.